that's your birth line. You're going to have no kids and you're going to die alone.
Welcome to Hot Girl Stomps. Hi, Cheri.
Hi, Gemma.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Sorry, that was really fast.
That was like...
How are you?
how the devil are you?
How are you?
I'm all right. I've got me McDonald's, so I'm happy.
I know, we're going to have to be a bit more
quiet about how we drink
cautious
this.
of taking sippity sips.
Yeah. We got told off by producer Lewis, like episode 1 or 2, for how loudly we were putting our mugs of tea down on the table. And I feel like I've just upped it even more now by having McDonald's, which is like, I mean, I'm gonna give ASMR for this, for how annoying this is. Like, we can't be drinking that during the episode, so I'm just gonna
give it a little bit of a, what do they do?
Yeah, we wet our palates.
Can you hear the ice?
Ooh, ASMR.
So, Cheri, this week I wanted to change it up a bit, and I think in the interest of balance.
Oh, okay.
And
potentially in the middle here.
Yeah. Hopefully, if people know, I think, if you're too much one way, if we actually believed everything and anything to do with the paranormal, it may reduce our credibility somewhat.
Yeah, you've got to be critical. You've got to think about things logically. I think both of us. I think if anything, you're probably less of a believer than me, and I'm quite hyper critical about stuff. But it's all about balance.
It is all about balance. So I wanted to, as I was sort of like thinking about things to present and discuss, I thought we might take a different angle today and maybe talk about things we don't believe in.
Okay.
And maybe things that we disagree with, and just delve into that a little bit more. So I was trying to think about what in the woo-woo universe, like, I'm not really sold on, and I do think
woo-woo
is
universe.
The woo-woo universe, and what I do think is a load of woo-woo.
A load of woo-woo.
Rather than actually anything in it. And, just a disclaimer, you are more than... I want to believe in it, what I'm about to talk about.
Yeah.
I just don't. But if, that isn't to discredit anyone, if anyone wants... You are more than welcome to disagree with me. I would love to have some...
There's a big but at the end.
No, genuinely, like, if in the comments you're like, oh, I've just not researched into it enough, or I've not been exposed to it enough.
Have you considered this line of thought?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I am more than happy. I welcome the challenge. This is us. We're sat down with a brew and we're just having a chat about it.
Not today. We sat down with our McDonald's Coke Zeros today.
But if you're at home with a hot beverage or a cold...
we have chosen the worst time to be having, like, cold drinks with ice. It is freezing. Like, we're recording this at, like, the end of October right now.
I know.
Disclaimer.
Wrapped up in our spooky sweaters and spooky
jumpers. We are, like, wrapped in like, blankets with cushions and sweaters, and then ice cold drink. Why? That was my fault. I apologise for this.
I'm enjoying it. It's thirst quenching.
Ooh.
So, yeah, the thing I wanted to discuss today was palm reading.
Okay.
I so badly want to believe in it. I really, really do. I love the idea of it. I love the idea of, like, a wise old woman who's older than the oldest tree.
Yeah.
In the surrounding area. Like, just like lovingly stroking the lines of my hands and being able to...
But they're not lovingly, because the only experience I've ever seen of these palm readers, they go, that's your lifeline, you're going to die young. That's your birth line. I don't know whether these are actual lines on the hand. I assume so.
Yeah.
Because I don't know a lot about it. But, like, that's your birth line. You're going to have no kids and you're going to die alone. Like, that's how I always perceive.
Have you ever had a palm reading?
No.
Maybe we
I
should.
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
That's just my perception from, like, movies or, like, when I've seen the odd, like, TikTok of a palm reader and, like, stuff like that. It's always like, you're going to die. End of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's not nice. So when I was sort of like, I was desperately trying to do some research and have my mind changed, and maybe come across, I don't know, a palmist that's got a thriving YouTube channel that, like,
changed your entire outlook on palm reading.
I was doing research, hoping and praying to be converted. unfortunately,
Alas. Not to be.
alas, it did not come about. But I did find some interesting stuff, so I'll just sort of like reel off some of my findings.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna drink my noisy drink.
you enjoy. There is more to it than perhaps I originally gave credit for. So obviously, palmistry, otherwise known as necromancy, that just makes it sound weird.
Necromancy? I thought necromancy was like bringing dead people to life.
Yeah, because, well, we both know the word I'm thinking of. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so it probably, to be honest, I don't know why it's called necromancy, but it just is.
I suppose it falls under all of that kind of banner
The body?
of stuff, yeah. Maybe does necro mean dead or does necro mean body? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Oh, we're gonna have to find that out after. Interesting. Continue.
If anyone knows, in the comments, please.
Palmistry, though, I think that's a really nice name.
Palmistry,
I just like the word palmistry.
Palmistry, yeah.
Pretty.
So originally, sort of traditionally, the origins come from like India, but then it did sort of spread out across like Egypt, Greece, like surrounding
As
places.
people travelled and shared knowledge and stuff.
So, it does come from perhaps an old forgotten wisdom, like it is ages old, like as soon
just
as
passed down from like person to person over generations, thousands of years, that sort of thing.
And again, so this sort of points to maybe my research isn't as in depth as it could be, but I think palmistry can, from what I could see, it can either be as simple or as complicated as you want to make it.
Okay.
Like, as in the age we live in, of course you can download an AI app which will just scan a picture of your hand and just tell you your basics. So you earlier said quite rightly, your main ones do seem to be your headline, your lifeline, and your love line.
Right. My love line is non-existent.
You just don't have one. Maybe we should do that for the page. Maybe we should record ourselves like using one of those AI scanner apps.
Depressed looking at our palm readings.
Yeah. Oh, you're already dead.
Yeah, that would be mine.
So yeah, it can either literally be as simple as that, or I'm sure you've probably seen them, but if you look up an image of palmistry, each mound under a finger is aligned to a different planet. Literally the teeniest, tiniest ridges. And something that I hadn't known before as well, they sort of take into account the overall shape of your hand. So if you have a fire hand, which is long palm, short fingers, and very distinctive cracks in your palms, you are a passionate and industrious person, apparently.
You can't see me, but as soon as Gemma said, if you have a fire palm, I immediately like, wow, my hands, like I'm staring at them as Gemma speaks.
Yeah,
like,
whereas an earth hand is like quite a square shaped palm with short fingers. I think
I'm that.
I sort of relate this to, no, I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's quite a square hand.
No,
I'm going to upload a photo of my hand.
I'm thinking big burly blokes where their hands are more like shovel shaped.
Fair, okay. I see what you mean. I actually quite like my hand. This is weird segue. I think I've got quite dainty hands.
Yeah.
I've got quite pudgy fingers though, but I have quite small hands.
See, I annoyingly, because I lost all my notes prior to recording this episode.
Gemma is absolutely raw dogging this episode right now.
This is on the fly. I've like literally scraped a few that I remembered in the last 5 minutes. But so I want to say, we'll triple check after. I want to say, show me your hand again. I want to say you're either a water or an air hand.
Oh, I'm a water sign.
Yes,
so that might. Does that matter? Like you're
see, and this is what I'm saying. Someone who's like deep within the lore of palmistry, would say yes.
Okay,
because
that your palms, like that your hands readings.
Astronomy is really heavily linked into it, which I didn't realise.
Okay,
so yes, so. Like I say I don't believe in palmistry, but maybe my surface level knowledge just isn't quite,
as in depth. Maybe there's more to it than
there
what
is.
you perceive.
I think, yeah. If you're going to take in all the considerations that actually seem to go into it, maybe there is more to it than people think. But yeah, so like earth hands, if you've got square palms and short fingers, you're a practical person with like a logical mind and things like that. So there's loads of different things to it, which I didn't actually realise. And then the more I thought about it, our fingerprints literally
individual to every person.
unique.
Ever.
Like, how many
Yeah.
people are on this planet? Like, is it 6 billion? It's probably more than
Something
that
like
now,
I
isn't
think
it?
probably more than that now.
And your fingerprint is infinitely unique to who you are.
Yeah. So is your DNA though. Like it. Yeah.
It is
I see the point that you're getting
It's
at.
like your fingerprint is almost a visual reflection of your DNA.
Yeah.
So then I was a bit like, maybe there is
something to
this.
it. Yeah.
And then I kind of fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and sort of going, when I sort of was thinking about the fingerprint aspect to it, and I was like, well, maybe there is something to it. I'm still not convinced there's a spiritual thing to it.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced.
But maybe there's a health thing.
Yeah.
With the lifeline stuff. And I mean, I'm not raining on your parade because I'm sure you're going to cover this, but like your hand telling you how many babies you're going to have, like, don't know. But like maybe, you know, it might be an indicator of your general health because there are medical things that are hereditary or, you know, DNA related or whatever. I don't know.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, I get that point.
So yeah, so I sort of went down this medical rabbit hole in the end, and you know, finding things like, have you heard of like clubbing of the fingers?
Yeah, I know of. I don't know a lot, but yeah, I know of it.
So it's basically where like the very tips of your fingers become quite rounded.
Yeah.
And how it was sort of described, your nail ends up looking like the upside down of a spoon. So
okay.
I know, listeners, you can't see me doing the hand demonstration. I'm literally talking with my hands.
We're doing like
and
worms
upside,
in the air.
Yeah,
with
I'm
our
literally
arms.
doing like waves in the air. Yeah, that sort of, is it concave or
Oh, I don't know. I can't. Sorry to our
I need to stop
physics
using fancy
teacher
words
from
that I do not
school.
know. Concave.
I don't
Concave.
know. I think concave is in. Anyone who knows anything about science, we did not you know, all the things that you learn in school where they're like, you're going to need to know this when you're older. Technically, we don't need to know that particular piece of information, but right now
I do.
we do.
I do need to
So
know it.
I apologise to Mr. Saeed, who was my physics teacher at my GCSE level, because I'm sorry, I should have listened more. Sorry, sir.
Anyway, basically, where the tips
ADHD.
oh my god, the tips of your fingers go a bit bulbous, which indicates like buildup of fluid, and like you're quite rightly saying, so like emphysema, heart failure, things like that. There was an interesting tidbit about like digit ratios, and the length. They've actually found in medical studies that the length of your pointer finger, so your second, like the one next to your thumb that you predominantly use to like point, compared to your ring finger, is directly linked to how much testosterone you were exposed to in the womb.
Okay.
Which is why men, if you look at men's hands, not all, tend to have. Women, your ring finger and your pointer will be roughly the same size.
My ring finger is
roughly.
Ever so slightly, like
ever so slightly,
1 millimeter to 2 millimeters shorter.
Yeah,
I have never looked at my hand so much in my life than right
this very
now,
second.
By the way,
whereas men will have longer ring fingers than pointers because obviously being male, they're exposed to more testosterone as they're like developing in the womb.
Is this? Oh my god. So this is like epiphany moment. You know when they say that one of the signs of a witch is when her toes, like the toe next to the big toe, is longer than the big toe?
Yeah.
Is that just because it was easy to say every bloody woman's a witch? Because let's be honest, the witch trials were absolutely, and witch hunts were not about witches. It was about silencing women. I will stand by that for the rest of my life. I wonder if there's something biologically in that where men don't have that.
Yeah.
And it was an easy way for us to get rid of women.
Yeah.
And maybe there's something to do with the hands with that as well. That is, wow, I'm going down a rabbit hole with this.
Yeah, when I actually was like looking into it, I was like, do you know what? Like, actually, they're probably like back in the day when, you know, I wouldn't even say knowledge of medicine wasn't as good. I think it was just different. And, you know, we were using what we had and studying what we could in terms of the actual body, like, you know, like acupuncture and holistic therapies. Actually, was it born of looking at your palms?
Maybe.
Was that completely correct almost in being able to tell a lot about you?
I know that you have had reflexology done. I remember this from many years. I have never had it.
Yeah.
My understanding of reflexology is that different parts of your body are linked to different organs in your body and stuff like that, or like different areas. So maybe, like you say, maybe with this palm reading and stuff, maybe that's where that comes from, where they're thinking that, like, I don't know, like the top half of your hand, where that first sort of like curved line is, directly correlates to your heart, for example. I don't know, maybe that's where they've come from with that. But I do feel like we have a lot of forgotten knowledge from, I mean, like the Native Americans, you know, they know exactly what plant is going to heal XYZ ailment. I feel like we've lost that natural knowledge over many, many years, and maybe this is part of that, where maybe we're not doing palm reading correctly nowadays, and maybe there was something more to it that was viable and proven, or maybe people were more gullible, or people's mortality rates were lesser, so it was just easier to, I don't know where I'm going with this. I do know where I'm going with this, but it's hard to explain. Like, if we're saying that this, you know, this has been around for thousands of years, like you said earlier, or like thousands of years in, you know, different cultures stretching back to India and places like that. Back then, before modern medicine, obviously, you know, people didn't survive it past infancy quite as much, or people's life expectancy was a lot less. They died younger. Maybe it was just a placebo effect almost, where they're looking at the hands and they're saying, oh, you know, your life expectancy is going to be this. Subconsciously, was there something in their head where they knew, oh, this person's probably not going to make it past 40, so that's why the lifeline's showing younger, because that was just normal for them back then. Whereas now it's with modern illnesses, but also modern medicine, like literally you can't tell when any person's going to die. Like now, unless, you know, they've got some kind of hereditary illness or something. I don't know. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
And hopefully the listeners understand where I'm going with that.
Tagging along to what I'm saying. Like, I am going to do the harsh 360 back into the spiritual in a second. But I think the more I looked into it, I can understand the origins, and perhaps there was something
where people got
viable,
not carried away, but like where people started
where it's
to
developed
take it
from.
Yeah.
Like insane kind of things. Another thing I came across when I was sort of looking into it. Have you ever heard of a simian crease?
It rings a bell.
Yeah. Formerly known as the simian crease. I think the term's a little bit controversial now, just because of the origins of the word simian. But so it's also known as a singular palm crease, but it's a very, most people will have like, again, I'm sorry, we need to start recording this. I
think what we need to do after this episode is we need to take photos of our palms and post them.
We should.
When this episode comes out, check the Instagram /hotgirlstomps, and you'll find the photographs of our beautiful, feminine,
Cheri's lovely,
hands.
Dainty hands. You do have lovely, slender fingers. And that's another thing. Like, artistic people who play instruments, have long, slender fingers.
But is that just because they've been
trained that way?
Well, more, is it just because they found more success? Because, like, for me, I've got quite pudgy fingers naturally.
No, you don't.
I do, but what that made it quite difficult for me. I've got quite short fingers. I know you say they're quite slender, but I think it's because I have my nails done and I have my nails shaped in a certain way. My hands look more feminine when I've got my nails done.
Fair.
When I tried to learn to play guitar when I was a teenager, I did struggle with moving between chords because I didn't feel that I could quite stretch my hand enough. So I wonder whether when we're saying people that are musicians have got, or they've all got a certain type of hand, is that because they've just managed to find success because their body has naturally enabled them to have more success in that field? Sorry to poo-poo your point, but that's in my head.
I love to be poo-pooed.
That's the poo-poo, the woo-woo. That's where we're going.
The woo-woo.
That's what that was like. My immediate thought with that is, I wonder if, you know, it's like tall people have more success in basketball.
I think we're both correct. Some people are, like you quite rightly said, are probably, if they've got two parents with long, slender
man hands,
flexible hands,
salad fingers,
yes, they're probably going to have. But I'm going to stand by my point. If a kid starts playing guitar at 2, it's the same as any muscle. It's the same as any muscle.
I suppose that makes sense.
If they've got like lean, muscular fingers, I'm using air quotes right now because they've trained them that way. Whereas sense. You know, I've never done anything of that capacity, so my fingers have remained short and fat, much like my entire body, because I've never done anything athletic.
Shut your mouth.
Because they've never been worked out. Come on, guys. getting the 10 digits to dance.
She's like flexing
We're
with
gonna
our
start
fingers.
now.
We're going to start doing
We're
our
going to start working out now.
Kegel exercises, but for our hands.
Cheri, Kegels are different.
I know.
Kegel's the wrong
I know
end.
exactly what it is, but for the hands.
How have we gone to Kegels in a palm
Because
reading
it's
episode?
me.
It's you. Let's do a 360 back to the singular crease. So, as I was saying, most people have the distinct 3 creases, which is where, like I say, the sort of head, heart and lifeline comes in.
Yeah.
People with quite a definitive, literally just a singular crease in the very middle of their hands that's very prominent, that has been directly linked to things like Down syndrome, fetal alcohol syndrome, like really strong links to different things. And the palms of our hands are sort of defined even by 12 weeks gestation in the womb.
Wow.
Because if you think about babies when they're clenched,
Yeah.
and obviously the odd flex as they're starting to
Grow,
move and
yeah.
discover things, but for the most part, babies come out with their hands like in a little fist, like,
Yeah.
and they're already they're ingrained. They're already there. So I find that really interesting, and maybe there is more to it than I first imagined.
I'm gonna have to, because I'm like examining my hand now, so I'm trying to figure out which of the lines are like the 3 normal ones. Again, I've never done any real research.
You've
into
never been
palm
drawn
reading.
into it,
It's just not something that I've ever gone down the route of, which is unusual for me because, you know, when I was like 9-10, I started dabbling in like paganism and Wicca, and you know, I had an altar in my bedroom and stuff like that. But for some reason, palmistry, I just don't think it ever like gripped me.
Never called out.
No, and I don't know what. And like I get a little bit into astrology. I'm still not like, you know, when people are talking about Mercury in retrograde, backwards, inverted, I'm like, what the bloody hell are you talking about? It's just that side of this kind of spiritualism has just never been something that's like grasped me. So now when I'm looking at my hand, I'm like, I don't know which one the singular crease is, but now after this, I'm going to go away, as I'm sure some of the listeners are also going to do, and study their hands meticulously after this, because I'm really interested to know
as well.
For me now.
Yeah, another part of the tradition, which again I didn't realise, which maybe makes more sense, because this was part of the thing for me. I don't know about you, but my left palm and my right palm are quite different in their indents.
Oh yeah.
So how can you tell me my future when, depending I have two different?
Is there like a certain hand for a certain vibe?
So again, what I didn't realise was that people in the palmistry tradition say that hold on, I'm going to get this wrong. Your non-dominant hand, so obviously that's different for everybody, but I know you and myself are right-handed. So your dominant hand is like the here and now, how you are making decisions in the here and now, almost a bit like tarot, like choices.
But then that never changes, surely, because your hand doesn't change.
Your hand does change.
Oh,
your palm at 2 will not be your palm at 90.
Oh my god!
Because obviously
your hand grows.
Your hand grows. Your skin stretches.
Oh, it's like ears.
What?
Ears keep growing, don't they?
Yeah, you realise. Is it really?
I'm sure I don't know, because like, you know, you get like old guys who have got like really massive ears, and it's because like their ears keep growing as they get older.
Yeah. So yeah, your dominant hand is the here and now, and your left. Well, sorry, my left and whoever's non-dominant hand is, that is more your core, unchangeable.
Okay.
How you're born, your root.
Interesting. So I wonder how that works for ambidextrous people and people who have been taught a different hand. So my parents were absolutely adamant that I was left-handed, that my dominant hand was the left hand when I was a child, because apparently I used to reach for everything or do everything with my left hand. And it's actually really common when you get to schools, because teachers don't want to have to deal with, because, you know, left-handed people are constantly having to like write over themselves or like smudging the paper, and things like scissors and, you know, guitars and all sorts of different things are not built for people with left-handed. So you find this so much when you speak to people that schools will train it out of you. And my mum and dad were absolutely convinced that I was left-handed, and that when I started school that they started training me just naturally to write with my right hand. And I've got pretty crap handwriting as well, so I wonder if maybe that's got something to do with it.
Maybe.
And if I maybe put some effort into trying to start learning to write with my left hand, maybe my handwriting would be neater. I don't know. But like, how would that change? You know, how maybe, you know, if I was doing palmistry since I was like 8 or 9 when I first got into like spiritualism properly, and I'd spent my whole life looking at my right hand for my here and now, and or my left hand for my here and now.
Yeah.
And then I realised actually, naturally, I was born with a dominant left hand and everything's backwards.
Yeah.
How does that affect it?
Indeed.
So that's, maybe that's another tick for the don't believe column in terms of why it maybe doesn't necessarily work, essentially.
Yeah.
Because, and ambidextrous people, you know, like there are some people that are just born that can do everything with both hands. Lucky people.
So, after everything I've said, yes, I think the hands are very interesting. Our body is our vessel, our physical. I think we've sort of touched on this before, and like our core belief of like soul being energy and things like that.
Yeah.
So do I believe the hands probably reflect a great deal about the body that we can't even understand? And like fingerprints, obviously, literally a map of you as a unique person, and it's all like, it's mind blowing really when you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Do I believe all that? Yes. Do I genuinely think? Because I suppose it all comes down to how you believe destiny and fate work.
Yeah.
And
like with tarot, like you said earlier as well.
Yeah. But tarot's about, this is what I'm saying. For me, sorry, microphone.
Whack the microphone.
So I'm getting passionate.
She is. Her arms are going everywhere.
My arms are everywhere. God, if we do ever decide to record this podcast, I'll have to look. I look insane right now. I've taken my kids swimming. I've got wet hair. I'm actually going to have to be presentable and not dance so much with my hands. So yeah, tarot is like, I think, more to do with energy and intention,
because you have to, when you shuffle it, you have to, you know,
of what you're seeking
think about
answers
what,
from, and who and what you're seeking answers
and also
from.
whatever spread you do is like dependent on what you're seeking an answer for as well. Yeah,
and tarot, and I think people who do tarot would generally agree with me. Tarot's not fixed. Like, at the end of the day, it's down to your choice.
That is true, yeah. You can
they
always
can
have
only offer
cards.
guidance and ideas. It's not saying this is definitely...
It's not part of your body, which is remains,
no, this is your vessel, your flesh, I believe, is like... I know we just said palms. I feel like I sound like I'm contradicting myself all the time this episode, but yes, as much as your skin ages and probably tells a different story the older you get, do I believe it maps out your absolute future and things that are dead set to happen? No.
Yeah. I think in order to believe in that, we would have to believe that your fate is set from the moment of conception, or the fate is set.
Yeah.
And depending on obviously what you think, you know, if you believe in rebirth or whatever, like how far back through many rebirths does that fate get set? And that's like a whole other existential, philosophical question that I don't think we're ever, as a human race, let alone you and I on this podcast, are ever going to have an answer for.
No.
It would be very, very much like set in stone, wouldn't it? Essentially, your hand being the stone in terms of like, this is what your future is going to be. This is how long you're going to live for, blah, blah, blah. Like, then that goes into, you know, near-death experiences and like, oh, you know, were you supposed to die at that time because your hand line said so? And like, it just gets so overcomplicated. So I think it's easy to understand why people find it confusing.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if I don't know if I could believe that there really is something really solid within that.
And I think as well with other things we've been researching, like I know you're sort of like going on your little deep dive at the moment with things. As much, whether you do or don't believe in things, I suppose what you would consider anecdotal evidence that exists, which obviously with the internet nowadays is a lot more accessible to us. I suppose back in the day you'd just have to like
go to a library,
deep dive in library books and articles and things like that. But so other things I think we've explored and discussed, I've never had a problem. Like, you know, what do we always say? If you can't find the answer, Reddit.
Yeah,
you know,
Reddit or Google.
Yeah, even on Reddit, like just people.
Shout out to Reddit for many episodes that we have already done and the answers.
But just finding, if trying to find out if people have experienced things or expressed that they feel they've experienced something.
There's so many more people in the world that you can ask now, because previously you're limited to the people in your town, and what's the probability that more than one person in your town has experienced something that you've experienced. However, worldwide, in different cultures and different countries, the probability goes up when you've got access to ask those people. So yeah, that makes total sense.
So when I was sort of doing my bits and pieces, I was reading through some books as well. I had gone through the effort of I've got some
books.
I know, actual paper books, as well as obviously internet research. And if you want to learn how to palm read, loads of stuff. YouTube videos, books, resources. Trying to find, has anyone ever had a palm reading that has changed their life and made them a believer?
No. Interesting.
Nothing.
Very interesting.
YouTube was just video after video after video
of how this is how you do it, but palms. Not any proof, that it's actually viable.
No interviews that I could find. Yes, maybe if I'd have done a 5-hour, but the hour and a half I did do, very little to nothing. And
that's interesting, because you would expect that if something worked, that you would not have to search so hard to find proof that it works.
Exactly. Like, people are, which we've been critical of before, people are more than happy to usually share experiences with scary things. When
people
actually
want
it's probably,
to share these things.
People want, and they want it to be paranormal, whereas actually
no one's actually gone.
Was it just a big dog you saw in the woods at night? That sort of thing. So the fact that isn't even around, I think
it's quite telling, isn't it? Really?
I think it's telling.
Yeah.
It's
a shame, really, but
because, like I said, I want to. I would love that. Mm-hmm. Is my fate ingrained in my flesh on my very palms?
And can I get answers by just looking at my own body?
Can I get wisdom from that? And yes, I do. I think you can, as we've sort of broadly discussed. I think your palms actually do say a lot more about us than we think.
Yeah.
But
maybe more from a medical point of view rather than a future telling point of view. It is
a reflection of your physical you.
Yeah.
Which is still very interesting.
Yeah.
But paranormal?
I think not.
No, I think not.
That's fair. I think I would agree with that. I came into this with very, very, very little knowledge, and you have opened my eyes to some stuff that I would like to go away and do some research into now. Not because I think remotely that it's going to change my mind on my opinion, but just because it's interesting, and I want to, study my own hand and just out of interest see what that tells me.
Yeah.
Do I think that's going to sway me? No, not at all.
No.
But very interesting though. Thank you for your research and for giving me some ponder thoughts, because I'm going to be this evening in bed after a glass of 2 of wine, because I'm going out after this. I will be sat there going, oh my God, I'm due to die next week.
You are all going to sit there. Where are you going?
I'm going to my friend's house for her birthday. I'm going to palm read.
Download an app.
I don't need it, because she has got on her dresser in her living room a palm reading, a statue of a palm with all the palm reading lines on, and the palm reading booklet.
Does she believe in it?
I don't know whether she does, but I think from an aesthetic point of view, she's got it. So I'm going to be grabbing that thing as soon as I get to her. Happy birthday!
Yeah.
Let me have a look at your palm reading statue.
Please have a palm reading. Excuse me. I want you to ask her.
I'm going to.
I need a text of the download once you've had that discussion. But no, I want to. Like I say, it's something I want to believe in, but unfortunately for me, it's just not.
Agreed.
It's just not there. The vibe is not there.
Yeah, no, that's a shame, but oh well.
But what about you? I wanted to throw the question back to you, Cheri. Is there anything
that I don't believe in?
That you don't, something that exists that you don't believe in? Maybe I can sway your mind if it's something I do.
I don't. Usually, I find it hard to say I don't believe in something outright. Coming into this session, I probably wouldn't have ever had any real opinion on palm reading because I'd never thought about it. It's not something that I could say I don't believe in it. I don't have enough information to not believe in it. Now, I think just even after our conversation, I feel like I've kind of wrapped my head around that a little bit more, and I feel that I've probably got a bit of an answer to that of don't believe. I'm sure there's plenty of other things that I haven't thought about that I don't believe in. I I don't necessarily believe in the astrology stuff. I think I know too much. I know you like it, and I find it absolutely fascinating. I've always been really interested in the stars. I did astronomy at GCSE, which I did not end up continuing and didn't end up doing the exams for because it was too hard, too maths based, and I'm not very good at maths. But I find space and I find stars and I find all constellations and all of that stuff absolutely fascinating, beautiful. Do I believe that every single person that's born on the 13th of March, the same as me, all shares the exact same attributes? No, I don't.
That's because everyone's got a different sun, moon and rising sign, Cheri.
Well, Gemma, you're going to have to sway me in another episode then. Because right now I am saying, no, I don't believe that me being born a Pisces. Like, I like all of the little stuff. I think they're really cute.
Because you're not just a Pisces.
I know, but I like...
Unless you are. Maybe you are. Because some people are.
Well, I don't know. So... like, I enjoy all of those little, you know, little memes and little graphics of like cute cats, and this is what your cat would be if you were a Pisces. I think they're really cute, and like generally I tend to agree with, you know, I think for Pisces it's like, you know, we're really, really like super highly empathetic, which I am, but I also attribute that to my ADHD more than I attribute it to being born in March. I do find them interesting. I do reshare them like to a certain level, but do I agree that the month that I was born in absolutely dictates the entire personality of me? No. But then I do joke, because I mean I'm giving far too much personal information about myself out, but who cares? I was born on Friday the 13th of the 3rd month at 3:33 in the morning. That was when I was born. It was thunder.
I don't think you need to know anymore.
I know, yeah, that's me. It was thunder and lightning outside. You know, the first thing that my mum said when she found out because they didn't know what I was going to be, was, can I go to sleep now? And then the nurse said to my dad, oh, congratulations, you've got a girl. My dad goes, can you check ahead for 666? I've always joked about that and been like, you know, I was destined because of the time and the date that I was born and being at Friday the 13th, 3:33, blah, blah, blah. I always joked that has dictated, you know, my whole entire future and, you know, the things that have happened to me in my life, blah, blah, blah. Do I believe that right down to my core? No. But I think it's a cute little funny thing that I can share with people.
This is coming from the woman who believes in Bigfoot. Like, it just blows my mind.
Look, right, there's more tangible evidence for me that a Bigfoot exists than there is that me and every Pisces on the planet are kindred spirits. That's, you know, I'm going to look up who some
Well, I'm a
serial
Pisces
killers.
rising.
You're a Pisces rising?
Yeah.
I don't know I don't even know how that works, because you were born in November. So this is something that you're going to have to teach me.
I will educate you.
You're going to have to do an astrology episode for me and like train me into the belief of this, because right now, no.
Not for you.
No. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing really within the paranormal that I don't believe in at the moment. But I'm sure there'll be more that we uncover as we look at specific things throughout this podcast's journey. But yeah.
So please, guys, whether you want to educate me on my ignorancy in palmistry and shout at me in the comments and say, no, it absolutely is true, I had the best palm reading of my life and it's better
changed
than
my future.
Yeah. Then please let us know. We also have an email. I don't feel like we've mentioned the email enough.
Yeah. I mean, the email address is part of the link tree, so if anything, I would say everyone needs to probably just find the link tree. So I think that Instagram is the easiest place to get in touch with us personally. I appreciate not everyone uses Instagram, but just because of some of the issues that we've had with the naming mechanism of the podcast on certain websites, Instagram has given us absolutely zero grief. So I would always say Instagram.com/ or / whichever way it goes in the URL. Hot Girl Stomps. In the bio is the link tree. In there you can find all the different platforms that you can listen to this on. So if you're listening on Spotify, it doesn't quite work for you, you can find it on YouTube, you can find us on Apple or Amazon Music, whichever, you know, platform you listen on. But also there is the email address in there. You can also DM us on Instagram, or we even have a Twitter. X, you know, as it's supposed to be called now, that I have probably posted on once. I don't know if we're going to continue with the Twitter. Please tell me, does anybody still use Twitter?
I feel like Twitter's just a space for men to shout at one another.
I think it's an Elon Musk.
Yes.
bestie
Politicians,
circle.
yeah.
But the Hot Girl Stomps Instagram, I would say, is probably your best. You can message us through there. We do have a Facebook group. We haven't really posted much about it yet, and we probably should. It's more, so we've got the Facebook page, and then we've got a group where you can kind of come and hang out on Facebook and, you know, post your own stories and whatnot. If you want to get directly in touch with us, I would say DM us on Instagram or send us an email. The email address is available through the link tree.
Absolutely.
I believe it's just hotgirlstomps@gmail.com off the top of my head.
Anything you submit, if you want it to, will absolutely be anonymous. But if you're happy for something, or even just ideas that you want us to discuss that we've not covered yet, please absolutely feel free to get in touch. We want this to be reactive and I'm doing this hand. That's it. Interactive.
She was doing.
I was doing the hand motion
very
to and fro.
Zoidbergy kind of vibe going on over there.
But yeah, so no, please get in touch and hope you keep enjoying the episodes.
Yes, and I guess we will see you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.